over the place. I'm your host, Jason Fleming, and I promise, promise is a strong word. I am going to try to keep things, you know, focused a little bit better in episode 2 than I did in episode 1. But, then again, that wouldn't be consistent with who I am or the premise of this podcast, but I'm going to work on it. So let me start off by saying thank you. I joked around. It was kind of joking around because I had no idea. Like I said, tried to go into it without any real expectations. But I had no idea that I'd get the response that I did from so many people. It was great. I'm really, really thankful. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. Super appreciative. However, it's really more of an indication of just how freaking boring your guys' life must be. I mean, you guys must be pretty hard up for content. But I'll take it. It was fine. So many people reached out and made comments, commented on the Facebook page and commented on the YouTube page. And I had a couple really, really great friends reach out and said, I can't wait to get on. We got to talk about this and we got to talk about that. And that, guys, is absolutely why I want to do this. Now, sidebar, Forrest, fuck no. Margaret, don't even think about it. Because you guys got to realize that even though I've set my expectations for this thing really low, I don't want to get fired. I do not want to get divorced. And I do not want to get arrested. So there are going to be a few people that I had a feeling that I'm going to have to put like that mute button on during certain parts. But anyway, awesome response. Really great text messages. Speaking of text messages, here I go. I'm already off the rails, but I got to do something really quick. I mentioned a friend of mine that I went to school with in the first episode, Daryl, who lives out west and in the Midwest. And I made reference in the first podcast about an elliptical machine that I broke recently with my newfound desire to pump you up. And he was like, I gotta know what happened. It's really not anything all that spectacular, except this thing was old. We got it from my father-in-law. It probably hadn't been used in a decade. So, my fat ass decides that I'm just going to hop on it and that it's going to be fine to just go for an hour every day, sweating to the oldies, So now this is located in my basement, and right above me is the dining room. Right above the basement is the dining room. So I'm on this thing and I'm pumping away, and the left fucking ski, tread, step, whatever the hell it is, woof, comes completely freaking disconnected. I go ass over goddamn tea kettle, and it's murdered. It's dead. There's no recovery. So, I played it off like it was no big deal. I came up, my family was sitting at the dining room table, and they're like, is everything okay down there? I'm like, absolutely. It was just moving some things around. So yeah, no, that's dead. So that's fine. We'll just go for a walk. And so there's one less exercise machine in the house. It lasted for probably about a month, and now it'll be used to hang up for laundry or whatever, like most exercise machines are. So that's what happened there. But again, thank you so much. It was great response, and I'm humbled. And if you guys get a little bit out of this and you get a few laughs, and we can laugh through some difficult times together and maybe inspire each other a little bit, then that's a win. I do want to talk. I was joking around about Amy Forrest and Maggie and how I'm going to have to probably mute them if I have them on more times than I'll be recording them. I do want to discuss something kind of a little bit serious on this. When I have certain people on and we go down memory lane, I'm going to really be transparent about stories from that period of my life. I've told people before that, when I turned 30, I got a tattoo, I got a divorce, I quit my job, started bartending, and moved in a new apartment right above the busiest bar in our area. And the rest is history. I I feel like I can do that. I can laugh about it. I can cry about it. I can be embarrassed about it because I'm comfortable with that period of my life. There's nothing I can do about it now. Hopefully, I've learned a little bit from it. But I'm gonna tell some stories because it's gonna be good fucking content, and we're gonna laugh our asses off, and that's part of what I want to do here. But I recognize that there may be some people that listen to this that are in early recovery, that are struggling with compulsive behaviors, addiction, alcoholism. And when you're early in that process, or you're deciding if you're going to jump into that process, living in that the glory day mentality isn't the best place to be. It wasn't the best place for me, that's for sure. I had to remove myself completely from that, and a lot of my friends from that period of time in my life will tell you that I did remove them from my life. I love them all, but I had to check some of those people out. So if you're early on in recovery, and the war story part of what we're going to do gets to you, uh, I apologize and turn it off. I mean, I certainly don't want to, you know, make somebody's struggle any more difficult than it already is. So, I want to start off today. I spoke in episode 1 about, this motivation and this desire to want to do new things and be creative and get healthier and all that kind of thing. And I've had these, images of being there to walk my daughter down the aisle and to see my grandkids and all that kind of stuff. And that's really, really important to me. And I was going to eat myself more than likely out of being able to do some of those things. So I'm working on it. Who knows? It's progress. I feel like I'm getting some traction, and that's great. But in this process of whatever I'm doing, I've been, dabbling in some self help and motivational books. Well, audio books. I don't fucking read. Um, and most of them are crap. Oh, I can't say they're crap. They're crap for me. I'm not like, you're a lion. Rawr, you can do this. It doesn't fucking resonate with me. I did find this guy, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard of him. His name is Gary John Bishop. He's a Scottish dude, and he just doesn't mess around. He's brutal, like really brutal. I mean, it's the titles of some of his books are "Unfuck Yourself," "Stop Doing That Shit." I mean, he can be pretty harsh, but he's real, and I liked that. I've already listened to 3 of his books, and they're a great listen. He's got a great podcast, and I encourage you. He may turn you off because he talks a lot about how we're all so programmed to live our lives based on solely the trajectory that our past experiences have put us, right? And that we self sabotage every time we kind of get this tidal wave of motivation, this flood of motivation. I'm going to do it this time, right? And then 3 or 4 weeks into it, I'm so freaking famous for this. I'll go and buy a new pair of walking shoes. I'll buy a bunch of new supplements. My wife will know. Oh, Jesus, here we go. He's back on a health kick. And then my old habits and doubt and pity and all that stuff will set back in, and it's only a matter of time. Like, I've got that groove that my past has put me in, and his approach is really kind of an opposite angle of that. He talks about how envision your life as a train track right in front of you. As far as you can see to the left is your past, and as far as you can see to your right is your future. And we all have this idea that the train only travels in one direction, right? It only goes from left to right, from our past to our future. And of course, chronologically, that's how things work. But we have absolute and total control in so many areas of our lives to change that trajectory. But you have to be aware of it, right? You have to be aware of those pitfalls. And anyways, I highly encourage you to check him out if if you're looking for a little bit of that harsh reality. He tells this great this amazing story. So in Stop Doing That Shit, it's a tough book, and about 80% of it is just absolutely beating up so much of what I had envisioned or how I thought life should be, or all of this stuff. He uses the example of Michelangelo and the sculpture of David. So I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's one of the most famous sculptures ever created. 17 feet, like 6 tons, out of like this pristine Italian marble. And it's thought that Michelangelo, based on writings after he had done it, that he didn't create David in the same way that we would think that an artist would kind of work, in terms of, knocking some things off and chipping away, and as it starts to come together, you do a little bit here and do a little bit there. David existed. David was already inside that block. He just had to remove all of the pieces from that block that weren't David. He had in his head, he had in his mind, he had created what the future already was. This is what this is. David is already in there. And then everything he did for 2.5 years while he was sculpting David was in that light. Everything I do is to reveal what's already there, right? And I just thought that was really neat. And he talks about whether it's your job or your relationship or where you want to live, fucking build it, create it, and then commit yourself to everything you do from this point forward is to get yourself to that thing that already exists, whatever it happens to be. You want to be a writer? Okay, so you're a writer. That's where you are. That's where you're going to end up. So everything that you do from this point on is to build the skills, to put the work in, to get to that place where you already know you're going to get. You want to live on a lake house in the Ozarks? Fucking perfect. Do it. Move to the Ozarks. But create that, and it's okay. You can do it. You want to shred power ballads on the absolute best air guitar that money can't buy. Yeah, absolutely. Do it. I don't care. Do it. And I think that was less than 7 seconds, because I've been reading a lot about copyright shit. So I think if you are less than 7 seconds, you're okay. But we'll see. Whatever. Maybe the 242nd person that watches this will be somebody that will get me in trouble and delete it. But I don't care. The point is, I've been spending a lot of time about where my wife and I, where Allison and I are going to end up, and what that house is going to look like, and who's going to be there, and my dogs, and my kids when we let them visit, and but that's about it. Other people from time to time, but take some time. We're so it's so much the grind, right? Every day it's the grind. And what are we grinding for? What? I'll tell you. I'm grinding to pay my damn bills, right? Go to work, pay my bills. Sure, I get fulfillment out of my job. I certainly get challenged by my job. And it's not just my job, it's a lot of other aspects of my life. but it's just to maintain my day. And I'm sick of that shit. I want to, I want something bigger. I want something better. So I'm creating some things, and I'm now it's the work to try to convince myself that I won't sabotage myself again, but making myself aware of those things. So that's where I'm at. What's your David? Where are you going to end up? What do you want to do? You want to do something different? I have absolutely no freaking clue what I'm doing here. Like with this thing, right? This thing. That whole fucking. I don't even know if that audio for the guitar riff even came on. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to do it. And I'm working really hard on trying to figure out where that destination is going to be. And then I'm going to put the time in, and we'll see where it ends up. If send me a message, shoot me. What's your David? Send me some ideas. Where are you going to be? Where are you going to end up? What do you want to do? Man, make it happen. Life is too short. Jesus. Whew. What did I see? What the hell was that movie with Keanu Reeves? Point Break? Is that it? With Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves, the surfer gun robbing movie. That movie came out in 1991, which happened to be the same year that I graduated. Like, how is that freaking possible? So, every day we're reminded about just how fast time goes by. So, build your own train station right freaking now. From this point forward, train is heading. We're not, we have to take those experiences. We can't just shut them down, but they do not have to dictate who we are, what we do. Not all the time. You can do your own thing. All right. Enough serious shit. So I was screwing around the other day and writing down some notes, and thought that maybe that would be a good idea, even though I'm not really following any of them. And I was going to introduce this next kind of second half of the podcast talking about, let's get into some tomfoolery and some, debauchery. Then I looked up the definition of debauchery. Like, I know what it is. But, so the definition of debauchery is excessive indulgence. Check. In sensual pleasure. Holy shitballs. Like, people talk about, like, chicken wings is my middle name and hard work is my middle name. Freaking debauchery should be my middle name. At least when I talk about, like, that period of my life. Excessive indulgence in sensual pleasure. Holy shit. Yeah. That pretty much sums up whatever it was. I wanted more of it. That's for sure. It was never I wanted more exercise, or I wanted more kale, or I wanted more quiet. Although now I definitely want more quiet. I don't want kale. So a couple cool things that I saw this week, and I don't want to make light of what's going on across the the globe and in the Ukraine. And as I said in the first episode, I don't want to make this political, and I'm not. Although it's bullshit what Putin is doing, but anyway. So did you guys see the video of that old lady in Ukraine? It went viral. I'm sure you saw it, but it's like this 5'0" babushka, very grandmother-ish lady, and she walks right up to this huge young Russian soldier, and basically, I mean, not basically, there's audio, and she's, what are you doing here? You're an oppressor, and what the fuck are you doing here? What are you doing on our land? And to his credit, like, he tries to diffuse the whole situation. He talks about, like, us carrying on this conversation is going to go nowhere, ma'am. It's best if you just step down and walk away. And then she does maybe one of the most badass things that I've ever seen. She hands him a handful of sunflower seeds. and says, "Put these in your pocket. And then when you die here on my land, I can see the sunflowers that grow out of your dead body." Something like that. I'm like, holy shit. That is badass. And there's been some examples of that. They're outmanned and they're outgunned, but they're a proud people. And let's hope that this thing doesn't continue to escalate and that more innocent people don't have to die. It's a scary time, man. It's when you've got some big countries that are flexing their muscles. It's not hard to go down that rabbit hole of worrying where things might end up. But anyways, that lady is amazing, and big respect for her. All right, here's another interesting thing that happened this week. So we have a black lab. Her name is Sadie. She's very, very sweet. Well, she's actually kind of an asshole to our cats and our other dog and most people. But she's really, really sweet to me because I'm the alpha dog. So, I don't know, a couple months ago, she had her nail fall off on her paw, and then it kind of grew back, and then it didn't grow back, and then it got infected, and it smelled like ass, and it was terrible. So we brought her to the vet, and they took all kinds of freaking pictures of it and all this shit. So anyway, Sadie had surgery this week and had to have their second toe, not the dew claw, but so it's like the first toe on the paw, amputated on her left paw. Now, here's the best part of this. This isn't the first time this has happened to one of my dogs. So we had a boxer when we lived in North Bennington named Gina Lee. And I named her Gina Lee because I liked how it sounded. I didn't name her after the fucking porn star. Somebody pointed that out after. Anyways, Gina was sweet, and we had a little run for her in the backyard, and we had this guy that would come and mow our lawn. And he had one of those like $9,000 frickin' lawnmowers, zero turn, and could mow our lawn in like 44 seconds. And if Gina was out there on her run, she'd like sit under the porch. She wouldn't go anywhere near him. Well, there must have been something in the yard or whatever. But he turned around, zero turn, turned that thing around, and he came right down. She was right there, and he came right down on her left front paw. Like a traumatic amputation. And it was all mangled, and we took her to the vets. And I'm in the vet, and I'm holding Gina, and the vets in the techs have got her paw, and they're looking at it, and I'm holding her, and I'm petting her, and she's shivering and shaking and whining. And the vet looks up at me, and he's like, "I'm sorry, sir, but there's no saving this paw. We're gonna have to amputate what's left. What are your thoughts about that?" And I'm like, it's really kind of a common thing in my house. We really don't give a shit. And then I laughed because I laughed about it, and it was crickets in there. I mean, they were all so serious and were pissed off that I was making light of it. I wasn't making light of it, just it was what it was. But the real unbelievable thing about this is that now I've had two dogs that have had to have parts of their left front paw amputated. That's weird and awesome. Now, we have a golden retriever who's an idiot. His name's Jasper, and he's very sweet, but he is by far the absolute dumbest goddamn dog that I have ever been around. And I told him, I'm like, dude, you better look out, because I got a bad history with dogs. So you may want to like wear some gloves or something right now and start protecting that thing, because it's only a matter of time. So that's my dogs. Oh, they drive me crazy, but I love my dogs. You better love dogs. My cats, on the other hand, they're okay. We have two kittens, and one of them is a terrorist and knocked over my breakfast shaky thing this morning, And then when I tried to catch that, I knocked my coffee over, to kill him. But, that's all right. I love my fur babies. So, all right, next story. Let me ask you a question. What is it about, and I have to be careful here, what is it about people who have been on this planet longer than others? What is it about older people that they think that we have interest in their old shit? So, my father in law, beautiful man, great man, has helped us out a lot. And, like, we've really mutually, our family, worked hard on rebuilding our relationship. And he is really an awesome dude. But he's a bit of a pack rat, right? And so will go through shit that he'll find and be like, hey, I think Allison and Jason would like this. Why? So, let me show you. So, I got a present today. Look at this fucking thing. Huh? It's a beaut, Clark. It's a beaut. Look at this freaking... No, don't worry. It does not have the nuclear passcodes in it. This is an 18th century... I don't know what it is. It's a briefcase. And for some reason, Grandpa thought that I would benefit. My life would improve with his fucking briefcase. So I told him that I don't want any of your shit anymore unless you're going to fill that shit full of money. Then you can drop it off. But every once in a while, he will bring over baskets of, like, baby blankets, and I guess, you know what? It's probably just me. Maybe they are sentimental to some people. I don't know. I just really think he's trying to get rid of his junk, and he doesn't want it around anymore. So he just gives it to us so that we can get rid of it. When I told him, I sent him a text, and I said, don't send anything else over here unless you fill it full of money. And he said, how much? And I said, I don't care how much, as long as it's enough for me to pay the dump fees to get rid of your shit. But I do love Dan. He's a great guy. But stop bringing me your shit. So there's that. What else is going on? Life's good, man. Life's good. Feels good. So, I think 45 minutes was a little long last time. My goal was to try to keep this one to around a half an hour. So, it's about where I'm at. I'm going to say, though, that stuff that podcasters and people all say, which drives me crazy, and I can't even believe I'm saying it, but if you watch this and you like it, share it. That'd be awesome. If you check it out on YouTube, you can. I will be posting this on my I'm all over the place Facebook page. If you watch it and you like it, please share it, like it, comment on it. I'd really, really appreciate it. And who knows? Let's see where this thing goes. I'm working on, like I said, the technology to try to, whether it's a Zoom thing, I don't know. If there's any of you out there that have expertise in this and could help fill my dumbass in on what actually I should be doing here, that would be awesome. Or not, whatever. I'll just keep trying to fuck around and see what happens. So anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate those people that have reached out. And I hope you guys are doing well, man. Hang in there. Hang in there. We got this. You'll get through it. We'll get through it. But shoot me a comment and shoot me a message. And if you've got some ideas or some stories or some things that you want to talk about, do not hesitate. All right? You guys be well. And we'll see you soon. Thanks.